Good day, YouTube. Today I'm going to take just a bit of a quick fun comparison look at Windows 10 versus fake Windows 10, let's call it, otherwise known as Windows Linux FX 10. Sometimes it goes by Lindows 10 or Windows FX 10 or Linux FX 10. It's got quite a big name to it there, but let's just call it fake Windows 10. That in brackets really is Linux pretending to be Windows 10, like on the left hand side there. Now, at a glance, you couldn't be blamed for thinking that these are both Windows 10. It does actually look quite good there. Just going to cancel out of that. And so we've got the same basic backgrounds there. That's easy enough to pull off. The same icon sets there as well. That's beautiful to see. It's exactly the same. They've ripped it off one for one. Remember, the fake Windows is on the right hand side here. The real one is on the left hand side here. Let's have a look at the start menu, because surely that can't be as much the same. So it's trying to look similar. It's not exactly the same. It's got the same dark color accents and tones. It's it tends to have the start menu or the shutdown menu, the settings, folders, categorization of apps a little bit differently. You can search in both of these. So let's just say I search under Firefox. I'll find the Firefox web browser. I'll do the same and... Oh, it's a little bit slower, isn't it? That's the problem with Windows in general. It's just a little bit slower. Let's just try... I know I've got the Brave browser, so I'll just type that in. It's a little bit quicker. That's nice to see. But much of a muchness. I mean, it's certainly a little bit different, but it is what it is. They've done their very best with trying to make these guys look the same. So kudos to them, the group at Windows or /Linux FX 10. And let's actually do a bit of a right click. So we've got the context menu. So you can create folders, you can sort, you can open up a terminal, which is expected for any Linux distro there. So that's nice to see there too. I really want to go into the back end, with the drag in and drop in of folders and things. So let's take a quick peek here. So we'll open up the folder settings, and we've got the launcher down the bottom. I should probably mention this. So you got your Wi-Fi settings, your volume, everything, the time, the date. Many things look the same. Not exactly the same, but fairly similar. Even got the weather as well. That's nice to see. So, Windows 10's got a nice dark mode there. I'm not sure if I turned that on a while ago or if it's just the way that it is, but it is looking pretty similar there. Gotta say, that is pretty cool. Let's see, I'll just go to themes for a second. No, we'll leave it as it is. Don't worry too much about that, guys. But let's see, so basically the same. Again, same icons, same sidebar with quick access tools. Not exactly the same because the hard drives are set up differently with file systems. There is no C drive, for instance. There's just a root drive, which in other words is a /. Whereas the root drive of sorts in Windows is always like the Windows C or the C drive. But, much of a muchness. You got your own home drive as well, just as these guys do. So if I were to go to any of these, the home drive, you know what? Now that I think about it, Windows does a little bit differently. You've got this beautiful home drive for all your stuff, but in Windows, we go this PC, I suppose. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I'm actually more of a Linux user, to be honest, but I thought I'd do these videos. And so we right click, we see the same basic sorts of options there as well. View, create new documents. So that's really similar. Of course, you can drag and drop things. So don't be afraid that you can't do such a thing. So you can do that on both of them, real and fake. What I want to do is go to the settings, because settings is where it's all at. Is this the settings? Let me just click. I'll go to the real settings on here. It's a little cog for Windows 10. We'll see how it looks. Administration probably. It's got the little control panel picture, which I'm used to. So I click on this one. Oh, actually that's just a category. I have to go a little bit further than that. You know what? Let's see if we can get this to load up. I really want to do fake Windows justice, so I just want to go to the settings menu. Let's see. Now, system settings. Here we go. Oh, there's different ones. So system settings. Oh, great. So that's kind of it. I just want to see, there is a different settings there, isn't there? So let's just jump back to that one. And that said, like, control panel. Oh, no. My bad. Sorry, guys. I'm doing this back to front. So not like for like, but it is fairly similar, let's say there, in that you've got all your options there. A little bit more colorized, so you can actually see maybe even a bit quicker on the window, on the fake Windows side, what's going on. So you got date and time, notifications, account details. Of course, you can see they're all using the real Windows icons there as well. So that's nice to see. There's the preferences, there's an appearances section, a hardware, so you can access your hardware, your Bluetooth, your display, your colors, your network, your power management. Yeah, it's kind of like a combination of Windows XP, Windows 7, and Windows 10 all in one, and I do kind of like that. Software sources, so for updates and things, firewall administration, login stuff. So really down to earth, simple to use. So the point here would be that this might be for a newcomer to Linux. If you've just been fed up with Windows and you're not a gamer on Windows and you only game on consoles, then the way to go here would be to just maybe switch to... Oh, also, another reason why you might want to use Linux is it's generally faster, uses less RAM, it's better for older laptops, PCs, netbooks, notebooks, anything with a book on it, or an old CPU. It's hugely more secure. There's just no particular attack vector for it. So in other words, 90% of all computers run on Windows, which means all the hackers, crackers, Trojan horses, all those things are going to go on the big Windows 10, the real one. The fake one it doesn't execute or have executables. It's a different system altogether. So yeah, it's probably the only downside is that you can't play games on it. I mean, in terms of major differences, and a few proprietary bits of software. Like if you want Adobe Photoshop on fake Windows, then forget it, because there is alternatives, open source alternatives, and I'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, you wouldn't really be able to use that sort of stuff on fake Windows there. But on that topic there, let's have a look at the software manager, or whatever they like to call it. Software. So they call it software. They've got a little Windows icon with it. Let's have a look at the real one as well. So let's see how that looks. It was easier to find on Linux than Windows. Maybe I go to apps. Here we go. Software. Search apps in the Microsoft Store. Gee, it wouldn't let me find it on the main search. That's weird. So a little bit more basic in the way that it displays things on the Linux side, as I wait for the Windows side to take ever longer to load, like just is always Windows, and that's why you might be looking to move to like a fake Windows, for instance. But you've got your editor picks, you got your recommendations, you've even got like a thing up the top, like a, what would you call it? A banner that switches to give you options for things you might want to download. Now in here you'll have your web browser apps, audio apps, video editing apps. These are all 99% of the time they're free. Half the time they're open source, the other half the time they are proprietary. But you can get actual real proprietary Windows software on fake Windows. True story, because you can get it running on Linux before you can get it running on fake Windows. This includes the Microsoft Edge browser, kid you not. This includes Microsoft Teams. This includes Microsoft Skype, a whole flurry of Microsoft applications. They've kind of been forced to allow it to go on Mac, and therefore, in a way, Linux there as well. So you get a bunch of things. But hey, let's have a look. So this is the software store that you might be used to on Windows 10. You can choose between apps. Gee, it takes a while to load. It's probably, yeah, it's got a rating system here on both of them, just so you're aware. You got the stars, and so that's nice to see there as well. Gaming, of course, you're going to have a lot more game options on Windows 10. But here's the thing, guys. Let's get down to brass tacks. I'm going to close out on both of these softwares. And Windows 10, the real Windows 10 is just so slow, God. And here we go. So if you just want to use a browser or email through a browser, you can do it on both. If you want to add in your credit card details into the browser on the internet, you can do it on both as well. But I've never trusted Windows with my credit card details, much less any of my other personal details. So it's not because I don't think Microsoft is nefarious or doing anything illegal. I just think that they're just, like I said before, such an large attack vector that there's just too many people hacking and cracking. I had my parents that had they had the ransomware. So they were just going on a website. My mum got some ransomware saying, "Hey, you need to pay us within 30 minutes, otherwise we'll delete all your stuff." She was freaking out. She decided not to pay them. They'd probably extort her again in the future. I've just never heard anything like that on Linux. I actually do have a Linux channel. I've got 1,500 videos, and I've been doing it for 10 years, so I do know just a smidge about Linux, I gotta say. Probably give you a link below. It's called Linux Lad, so do check out that video when you like. You get all the information on Linux there. But yeah, this is just a really interesting thing. If you want your parents, baby boomers, grandparents, or even your partner who isn't tech savvy to just be able to be safe on the internet when you know they do silly things all the time, definitely move them to Mac or Linux. Keep them off Windows. The thing is, you can get Linux straight away, so you can download a copy of it. If you're savvy enough, you can actually install it. I've got videos on my other Linux Lad channel about how to do that. It's free. You can use it on an old laptop. It won't use anywhere near as much RAM as Windows or Mac, so you could use an old 10-year-old laptop easily and run something just for basic web use, email client use, all sorts of things. Because really, to be honest, 99% of things these days are on a web browser. If you're using a fully fledged laptop or PC, you're using it on most of the time you're using browser related stuff. And you've got the Brave browser, the Firefox browser, the Chrome browser, even Microsoft Edge browser on fake Windows. So I didn't realize this video was going to turn into a talk about the pros and cons, or really just the pros of switching to Linux for some of your loved ones. But yeah, I'm just going to keep it at that for now, guys. Please feel free to leave a comment and ask me any questions, or if you've got any particular videos where you say, hey, I want to look at the settings menu a bit more, or I want to know what it's based on, and I might actually just quickly say it's based off Ubuntu, which you may have heard of before. On the back end, and the front end is called the Cinnamon desktop environment, which very, very closely copies Windows 10. But hey, just let me know if you've got any other queries. Oh, actually, it doesn't hurt to do it. I promised you it used less RAM, so I may as well prove it to you. So Windows 10 using 1.8, 1.9 gigabytes of RAM on boot up, whereas Windows or fake Windows 10 or Linux FX 10 is using 900 megabytes of RAM on boot up. So that is less than half. So that's pretty decent right there. If you find that you're slowing down on Windows 10, you might want to give any Linux variant a go, including fake Windows 10. It's just one of those things. So thanks again, guys. I'm really waffling on this one. I don't mean to, but I'm just really impressed by what I see on the right-hand side. So thanks again, guys. Please leave a comment, subscribe, hit that like button, and I do hope to see all of you guys there in the next one. Cheers.